All right, now let's take this a step ahead. We will add in this workflow something called a webhook, and then we'll use a software called Postman in order to explain the end-to-end example that we're going to build and integrate these two systems together. So what I would like to do is take this chat window and remove it. And then we'd like to, let's say, remove this simple memory as well. So it's super simple. We'll try first a very simple example, and then we'll go to the more complex one. So add a webhook here, and then change this to post, and connect it like this. And then in here, respond immediately should be changed to respond to webhook node. And then change this to respond to webhook node, and then let that run like this. Now if we run it, it is in this listening mode. And if I copy this URL, and then I open this software called Postman, add a new tab, then go in here and then click on post, paste the URL in here, go to body, change this to raw JSON, and then in here we're going to add a query. Hi there, just a simple question or a simple query, and we're going to keep this on this side and keep this one on this side, just so that we can see both of them at the same time. What I'm doing now is sending this information here. So whenever you see these API integrations, or basically as a general rule of thumb, what is an API, application programming interface? It includes connecting two systems, a system A with a system B. So this API, basically this webhook is kind of like an API. It's connecting two systems together, system A with system B. And this information called hi there inside a query, a so-called JSON object sitting there, is going to go to system B, which is the n8n workflow. This is Postman. System A is Postman. I'm going to click on send while this is in waiting mode, and you will see what happens. It goes in here. It stops there. We'll need to fix something. Something is wrong there. But you saw the moment I clicked this, it went to this other system. So basically it left one system, went to the other system. Let's go and see what's wrong there. So basically I have certain settings in here that needs to be changed. For example, I can mention here that answer this query, and I can pick this query from there and then put it there. So basically you can see this I there appeared in this system, and now I have mapped it here, which will be used in order to send it to ChatGPT. So now if I execute this one more time and press enter, you can see that all the execution happened, and I received this hello, how can I assist you today message. This is all because of these two webhook and respond to webhook features. The entire processing time was 1187 milliseconds. And you can see that internally, n8n also did some API calls. But what we have done is we turned this into an API example. So this is basically an API example. We have created an API. We sent some information in the body of this API. And then we received back a response of this API. So this was basically the request, and this is the response data. The request data was also a JSON object. The response data is also a JSON object. Now that we have covered those two, what if we put back our memory in here? If I put back memory and I start the execution and I send the same message, it's going to give me an error. Why? Because it says I don't know the session ID. You need to tell me how can I maintain this session? So you can define it below, and this key has to be passed from the other system, from system A. We're going to call something session ID. It can be an arbitrary number. For now, ABC123 should do the job. It makes sense that we rerun this so that we can get this data in our system B. Something like this. Now, if I double click this, double click this one, there's a nice feature, almost underused feature. Let me move this a little bit here. This one called pen data. When you click on this, it basically pens this data in here. Why? Because I already have the session ID sitting here and I need it for something else and down there. So I'm going to execute this. You see it executes, but this particular one needs a session ID in here. Where is that session ID coming from? From this webhook. So let's go and check this particular place. So we already have the session ID setting in here. And all I need to do is define below the session ID, change this to expression. And then if you double type this curly braces, then you see the list of things in here. And then you can type JSON and then dot body dot. You can see those two pieces of information that we are looking for, query and session. These are exactly these two pieces of information that we have sent from here. You see, query and session. So I need the session ID in here. That's pretty much it. Save it. Execute this one more time, but this time from here so that we can remove the pen data, the information that was already penned. Now I'm going to refresh this page. Execute this. While it's in the execution mode, I'm going to change this. Either my name is Emal. If I execute this, you can see that it executes, it greets with my name. But if I say, what is my name? Since I'm sending the same session ID, I'm expecting this to greet me back or tell me back my name is Emil. And there you go. Your name is Emil. But what happened was, because of this mapping, because of this session ID that we passed from here all the way to there, it remembered this thing. So what happened was this API, there was like, now what we changed is this system A became Postman instead of Arc. We send a so-called HTTP request. Some processing happened inside this n8n workflow. And then we got an HTTP response. So basically, this is our HTTP response. The entire thing took 800 milliseconds. This included this API call that happened here. So there was another API call and an API response from n8n to this. And this 123 ABC123 that we sent was stored here temporarily, so that next time when we send another HTTP request, then it knew it based on that JSON object that we sent as an HTTP request based on this information. Then it pulled it basically from this database inside the n8n workflow. Now, if we double check this entire workflow that we have created here, or this entire endpoint, as a web developer, this would take you, I don't know, a lot of time in order to build this kind of an application. This is the future of programming, called flowgramming, called, and one of the best platforms right now is n8n, and I'm super thrilled to produce a lot of content, especially bringing 17 years of full stack software engineering on the table. And I'm glad that you're learning n8n today, and keep uh, in contact with n8n new content coming every day, not only from my channel, but also from other channels. This is just an emerging technology. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And especially the agentic world of this, it's much easier to build agentic workflows that you'll discover throughout the series. All right, with that, let's go to the next step, which will be building a contact form and eventually connecting that to our uh, ElevenLabs voice AI agent. Thank you for listening so far. See you in the next video.